So it seems to be that we are seeing more and more and more and more activist judges stepping out of the woodworks to operate and run the country. We didn't vote for these. What I'm pertaining to is an article. I got two articles I'm going to cover real quick. This is and I don't. We're gonna kind of go through this together. But so Gavin Newsom had filed a lawsuit against Trump with him bringing in the National Guard, which is constitutional. That's kind of what the National Guard is for, is to protect the homeland. They're here for that. They do a lot of extra policing if necessary. And there was a Clinton appointed judge who came out and said, "Oh no, Trump, you got to take this National Guard out, and you got to restore power back to Gavin Newsom." And you hear Gavin Newsom go on and on about saying, lock me up, just do it. Just go ahead and do it." And I think that what's really going on is he wants that mugshot. He wants to be able to be like Trump. He's so obsessed with how popular Trump became after they arrested him, Trump. And so Gavin thinks that that's going to be, it's going to get me, because he's like polling like 2% amongst, the Democrat Party, because of his podcast it went terrible. Gavin Newsom started this podcast, and he said, "Well, I'll get Charlie Kirk on there, and I'll debate a conservative." And then Charlie Kirk hit him with some just normal questions about trans people and stuff, and then the answers that Gavin had to give, because he understood, that you're right here, and it just didn't do very well with Democrats. So his polling is real low. So he's trying to get those numbers up, and he feels like if he becomes a martyr, then he will be ranked higher up in the Democrat scale and because he's gearing up for a presidential run. You can even see it the way his rhetoric is going back and forth with the current sitting president. Now, there was a guy that came in to heckle. He was some Democrat dude, representative, and got kind of hauled out in handcuffs trying to heckle Kristi Noem. And there's other ones too. It seems to be a trend. They want the ICE to interact with them. They want to be arrested. They want to try to have that mug shot and try to parade that around like they're actually some sort of real life activists. They feel like this is their direction they need to go, which is them doubling down on their policies. Let me read to you what happened, by the way. Just to, in case you don't want to watch the whole video, there was at later on that night, just a couple hours later, a Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals rescinded that Clinton's judge's orders and allows the National Guard to be in place by the orders of Trump. I'll read you the articles and we'll dig into this. It was the one that came out first, and I was like, oh man, I posted this on the Twitter that nobody sees. Nobody sees these videos either, so I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. But anyhow, it's funny. Clinton judge sides with Newsom, orders Trump to return control back to the National Guard, back to California, calls President Trump's actions illegal. Okay. That's, and Gavin Newsom came in there and he X'd a post, and he goes, "We are suing Donald Trump. This is a manufactured crisis. He is creating fear and terror." Oh my goodness. I hope I've got it saved, and I want to play that, but it deals with the fact that the reason why ICE was even there to begin with was because there was a illegal operation going on right next to the Home Depot that involved human trafficking and large quantities of drugs that was being operated by the cartel. Anyways, that was the reason why ICE was there. That's actually part of their thing. They customs, international customs enforcement, immigrant customs enforcement. Anyway, so that was the reason why they were there. Newsom lied about that. Newsom created this. He manufactured this crisis. So let me read to you the next. This was at 10:40 last night that this came out. So it was just several hours later. We seen where Ninth Circuit Court temporarily blocks the Clinton judge's restraining orders. Now they've got to go in and do some judging. They're going to have a Zoom meeting. I'll tell you, this is where technology is aggravating. They should be in person doing this. But anyhow, Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals on Thursday night granted an administrative stay and allowed President Trump to keep the National Guard deployed in Los Angeles for now. The three-judge panel included Mark Bennett, Eric Miller, and Jennifer Sung. Oh man. Anyway, so earlier Thursday, a federal judge in San Francisco on Thursday ordered President Trump to. So this is going back and forth now. There's the written signed document by the judges. Note you've got your dollar store Obama, Hakeem Jeffries, who is addressing a congressional matter dealing with the defunding of PBS, NPR, and some other propagandist news companies, organizations, and there was a major money laundering scam that was going on between the trying to get Sesame Street over in like Iran or somewhere way over. I don't know. If, it was over there on that side. Billions of dollars was being millions of dollars. Something. It was quite a bit of money. Anyway, so Hakeem Jeffries is pissed off because they're going to. He said they're trying to take the Elmo. They're trying to heart Elmo, and I'm sitting there thinking they used Elmo to teach kids it was okay to be tickled by adults. They also used Elmo to give medical advice. I couldn't give medical advice. I couldn't tell you, hey, might want to not do this or might want to not do that. You get a strike on them two YouTubes. But you could use Elmo to tell people to do certain things, and that was okay. It was weird. Now a lot of people are injured from whatever that might be when they said, take your mandated stuff. Here's Hakeem Jeffries.
Republicans are attacking Elmo.
I think that maybe we shouldn't stop at Elmo. We should go after that guy right there politically. Even the dude with the red tie in the back, he's laughing. He's like, "Oh my gosh, come on, man!" And Hakeem Jeffries is they're doing everything they can to pull emotional strings. You got that, like I said, that one senator, governor, representative guy. I'm not naming his name, I'm not giving me notoriety, but he goes to a Christy Nolan thing and gets arrested, and now he's some sort of martyr, and now people know who he is. And by the way, that one chick who was saying she was an illegal. I'm in Congress and I'm an illegal. Nah. Come to find out, she wasn't. She was just doing that to get people to get her name out there because she's running for governor or something like that. I don't want to even talk about her more than just the fact that I'm seeing a trend of an opportunity because this is another instance where Democrats don't let a crisis go to waste. So while this is all burning down, while their policies are failing, while everything is, that means that we're going to talk about them and they're going to get their names out there. And they're going to try their best with media toting the load, pulling that weight. In another year or so, they'll forget all about this. And this will be for the midterms. This will all be for the midterms, by the way. This is what they're doing. This is their plan to regain the midterms, if you ask me. So, it's our job to try to keep these people in the spotlight that is applicable to their behavior. And I hope that we can overcome these. I don't know how you see if Trump steps out. By the way, they want Trump to override a judge. They want this to be part of their in the midterms. If they can regain any kind of power, they want to impeach Trump. So they want Trump to operate illegally. Everything that Trump's been doing so far has been legal. When the judge says stop, he stops. And Biden didn't, by the way. Biden did a bunch of crazy mess that he shouldn't have done after a judge told him to stop, and he kept doing it, but nobody says anything about that. He was just so retarded that you couldn't impeach him because he would have had Kamala Harris, and that would have been even worse. It's not a word, but I use it. But basically, they're trying everything they can with these activist judges to overstep their boundaries and operate illegally so that Trump overrides them, and that'd be just enough so that if they can regain power, they're going to use those as grounds for impeachment. So I think that, and just talking about that makes me kind of think there's a good possibility that we will actually see a lot more action in the second half of the presidency because we've got, if we can make it through the midterms, then it's Katie bar the door. That's our new hopium for a little while. I think that's where we're at. I think that right now we're just trying to be really careful to not lose the midterms, get in there because this is Trump's last term. Then after that, it's Katie bar the door. If we got power still, then they can't. He can operate like how he wants to, which is to me lawful and constitutional. Because they'll anyways. So I don't want to run this out too much, but just I wonder if that's what the plan is to kind of ride the clock to the midterms, help you make it to the midterms, and then roll it out. All right, guys, take it easy.